Assalamu alaikum, Brother Qamaruddin.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Salam to all our ulama ikram, mashallah, very nice to see you.
I'm not sorry to keep you waiting for so long because we were discussing quite important, as you can appreciate.
No problem, but I am quite enjoying your discussion. I think it's very, very relevant, mashallah.
Mashallah, you are expert yourself on moon sighting issue. Mashallah, you try to observe moon sighting every month. Alhamdulillah, you have a lot to give input to this program. So any point you think we have missed, we have not touched, right. Please fill in that.
Okay, right. Just for the benefit of your viewers, my background is scientific research for past 25 years, science and engineering. However, I have been working closely with the ulama, and at least on this moon sighting issue for past 15 years, I've been following the issue and the development. And as a result, I am in the International Committee of Moon Sighting Group, which Sheikh Sulaiman Ghani have already mentioned, ICOP. In Abu Dhabi, I was elected to be in the management committee. Now, with that link, I do have a connection with a lot of scholars from around the world, and specifically from Saudi Arabia. Now, as has been mentioned, they have a al-Qura calendar, which is for official government purposes, and they also say clearly this is not for religious use. And I have been asking them a long time that can you make this statement clear on your al-Qura website, because in my travel in the Middle East over the last few years, I have found that the general public assume that the al-Qura calendar is a calendar which matches visibility of the moon. And all the experts in Saudi Arabia and around the world unanimously agree it does not. So I said, right, you need to make it clear, because by not doing so, you are intentionally or unintentionally misguiding and misleading the public, and this is not right. So, alhamdulillah, this was supported by many, many people around the world, and now on the al-Qura website in Saudi Arabia, they have made this point clear. The website address is ummulqura.org.sa for Saudi Arabia, and it's under the president's address, who explains the criteria, and he says al-Qura criteria may not match the visibility of the moon, which is required for religious purposes. So when we had this slogan by our respected ulama, Hizbul Ulama, they saying they're getting sighting news from Saudi Arabia every month, this was, in my knowledge, over many years, a misleading statement, because they never publish sighting every month. They have categorically said not only on their documentation, but also face-to-face meeting in 2010 in Abu Dhabi. We met Saudi Supreme Court scholar, Sheikh Abdulaziz Al-Humaid. He was the Supreme Court member at that time, as well as Sheikh Abdullah Monet and Sheikh Sulaiman Ghani, brother Abdulaziz, Maulana Shoaib. They were all there. So they have specifically, very clearly said, we do not announce any moon sighting all 9 months of the year. We only announce at Ramadan, start and end, and Eid. But for anybody to say that they get this calendar here based on Saudi moon sighting, this is incorrect. And if they don't know it, then Allah may forgive them. But if they're knowingly saying it is based on Saudi moon sighting all the months, then they are falsifying information. And we leave their situation to Allah's hand. But so this is one clarification I want to make, that for 9 months of the year, they do not announce the date according to visibility. And even though for last few years, they didn't do before, but for last few years, the committee do go to look for the moon, but they do so on the 29th date of the al-Qura calendar, not on the 29th date of the visibility calendar, which results in all the committees reporting a negative sighting, because it is either the moon is not born or is moon gone below the horizon, because al-Qura is running a day before the actual visibility calendar. So that's one point. Now, the second point I ask our respected scholars in Saudi Arabia is that if you are going in observing the moon in all these places, so when these people one or two people claim sighting, can you not go with them and say, ask them, where do you see it? Point your telescope and see. They say, these few people, the leader is Abdullah Khudairi. Some people give him some titles, but he's not a doctor or a sheikh, but he's an ordinary person. But he is very passionate about moon sighting. And he does not go with the committee. He goes separately himself, and he is very eloquent and speaks very convincingly. And because of their criteria, which is Mufti Taqi Usmani describes as weak, they accept individual person or a few person year after year. So I did ask our Saudi scholars, how they can tackle this problem. And they say, brother, the problem is our authority trust one or two person outside our committee, and this is out of our hand. So their job is to go and observe and report, and that's it. Okay, the other point that I'd like to mention is that we are not under their jurisdiction, like our Mufti Akram and scholars here we will say. And therefore, if we rely on their reports, then we are going to continue to have this division because not everybody going to agree on unreliable news. The Ummah will not unite on falsehood altogether. There will always be division. So our solution, I think, is for us to have an independent criteria, and I give a lot of jazak khair to our Wafaqul Ulama who have taken a very bold step since 2006 and said, right, we have to have our own criteria. I think other communities and associations should come together and agree on a criteria which is not fixed on one location. For many, many years, I've been following Saudi Arabia 15 years ago because this is what the elders tell us to do. But when I started my research, I asked the question, is there any Shari jurisprudence evidence to say that we have to follow one location for all the months throughout the year? And no mufti can give me that we have to. And it is also scientifically not possible for the moon to only rise from one location every month. The moon always changing the phase, and every month it is coming from different location. And this is one of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that all the countries around the world will get to see the first moon, and also everybody get to fast on around all the seasons. So we are not always getting long days, but we also get short days because the moon keeps moving on different location and goes through different seasons. The other okay, so my suggestion is that, of course, we have to come to this criteria, and I also congratulate our Brelwi Hazrat, mashallah, they are standing firm on their criteria that there must be imkan, and but I don't feel easy that that calculation should replace sighting. I am very fond of the idea that we should revive the sunnah of moon sighting, and I would suggest that calculation should be used to help us know when and where to look, and decision should be based on sighting. So we are using calculation to safeguard ourselves against making mistakes and make accurate decision, but not do away with the sunnah. So that's it. As far as helping our Saudi authorities, I think we should not say it's their problem, they should live with. I think we should help them. And so one step is that we have already got them to admit that their calendar doesn't match visibility. The next thing that we have to convince them through persuasion and through any lawful means is to change their birth of the moon, Wujud Qamar criteria of Qura to visibility model. Now, this visibility model was not available for many, many centuries. The birth of the moon was, because it is one calculation. But the visibility model requires a lot of many thousands of calculation terms, and the computational power to do that accurately only came in the late 80s and 1990s. It was not available before to be done. So now, since 1997, this visibility calculation has become very accurate, and at least for past 5 years, every month we have found that this model agrees with actual sighting. So we should do whatever we can to persuade the government, saying, okay, you're not saying that you are using your Qura for religious purposes, you are using for official purposes. So what is the difference if you change it from birth of the moon to the Imkani Ru'ya visibility moon? The reason I say this will help, because the Saudi experts say that this person, 2-3 person who claim, they say we can't say they are liars, because in one case privately I said these people are liars, because a person makes mistakes 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, not for 10 years, 20 years continuously, and I think they're liars. But they said, no, we can't say they're liars, but I think they are psychologically biased towards this early date of the Qura. And I said, what does that mean? He said, there is a theory that this mental image in psychology and in neuroscience, they have established that a person who is very passionate about something and thinking about something, they see a mental image as though it is coming from their eyes. So if they change the Qura calendar to Imkani Ru'ya model, and they will not do so unless a lot of people campaign about it, I think we can help them improve that situation.
Jazakumullah, Brother Uddin.
Really